When you've got Mohammed Bin Salman, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia kinds of cash, so like $18 billion, you can buy pretty much everything. The most expensive home in the world in France, a garage of matching golden cars, and a yacht nicer than most mansions. Living like MBS costs big. Take a second to imagine what Mohammed Bin Salman's most expensive home looks like. $20 says you didn't imagine a chateau in France that looks like it was built in the 1700s. So yeah, obviously there's a bit of a story here. Let's start with the home itself. It's called the Chateau Louis XIV, named for Louis the Great, the longest-running monarch in French history. While you might think that this home was built at some point during his reign, it's actually a lot newer than it looks. Construction began in 2008 and ended in 2011. I legitimately would have thought this was built over 50 years in like 1723, but it turns out the thing was put together in between the Dark Knight movies. That's largely due with the famous French-Saudi businessman Ahmad Khashoggi. His company, Kojamad, is famous for building and restoring chateaus of this level of excellence. The company gained prominence for renovating legendary homes like the Chateau de Verduron and the Palais Rose de Vescenay. The company's masterpiece would be a love letter to 17th century design with a modern flair. The land they chose was a plot of land favored by the real Louis XIV for a property, though it never came to be. Kojamad employed over 120 workers going every single day. These were all experts like mosaic artisans, marble masons, sculptors, iron craftsmen, painters, clockmakers, bronze workers, and many more of France's finest artists and experts. In 2015, the property was fatefully sold to Mohammed Bin Salman, who took this beautiful property as part of his lifelong goal of gaining notoriety in nations outside of Saudi Arabia. His commitment to this goal led him to paying an unbelievable sum for this chateau. He ended up dropping over $301 million on this place, setting a record for the most expensive residential property sale in the world. So, is this home really worth over $300 mil? Is any home? Well, the answer to that is a resounding yes and a resounding no. For starters, this place is gorgeous. Usually we cover amenities like a home having its own basketball court, a home theater, or an infinity pool. This home is a whole different story, with gorgeous painted ceilings that took master painters months to complete, like they were modern-day Michelangelos. Add to that the gorgeous marble floors, the gold-colored trimming on the wall, and the elegant horse statues galloping out of your flowing fountain, and you have an estate that's so much more than just a giant mansion. This place even has a freaking moat. While the home is obviously supposed to be as close to a 17th century masterpiece as possible, there are several features to this chateau that are superior to a home of that era. Mainly the kind of high-tech amenities humans are used to today, like temperature control, internet, and other high-tech features that they weren't as quick to advertise as they were those gorgeous fountains. One of the most impressive features of this home are the vast gardens that make up the centerpiece of the home. These are perfect recreations of those enormous gardens you'd see French royalty casually strolling through in like Dangerous Liaisons or The Three Musketeers. There is one very, very obvious reason why this home isn't actually worth $301 million to MBS. That's because he doesn't live in France. While Mohammed Bin Salman does make regular trips to France to take meetings with French heads of state and the like, these trips are often for just a couple of days. That's a lot of money for what is essentially the world's most expensive hotel room. After looking at this man's chateau that he stays in for maybe like a month out of every year, what do you think this man's car collection looks like? Well, it's exactly how you'd imagine. A fleet of shiny, golden supercars that most of us would be lucky enough to just be within 20 feet of. The level of car I'm talking about here is like he just casually owns a Lamborghini Aventador. This is a car that's worth over $400,000. And it's usually photographed as just part of his collection, not even a crown jewel of the collection. I've seen it just sitting next to his equally shiny Rolls-Royce Phantom that's worth well over $1 million, even when it isn't golden. He's also been seen in a gold stretch Hummer limo that goes for over 200 Gs, a golden Bentley Continental GT that's worth over $220,000, and a Mercedes-Benz G-Class worth over $170,000. You gotta add thousands of dollars to each one of these as well. It costs upwards of $6,000 for that gold chrome finish he loves so much. That's probably the least of the expenses he drops on personalizing these rides. These cars travel with him all over the world, racking up millions more every single year. They seem to be on rotation depending on his changing tastes. What that means is there's certainly a garage of well-maintained golden supercars that have barely ever been driven and are likely forgotten altogether as the crown prince focuses on his next big car buy. For instance, the Saudi government became the second biggest shareholder in Aston Martin. This was a deal that came in at over $800 million. By all accounts, this massive influx of cash was a real lifesaver for James Bond's favorite brand of car. If you think that fleet's impressive, just wait until you get a look at his yacht. Before we set sail, please take a sec to like and subscribe for more of the wealthiest people in the entire world. There are yachts and then there are yachts. The one that is owned by the Saudi crown prince is definitely in the big leagues. Serene is a 439-foot beauty that used to be one of the 10 largest yachts in the world. It has all sorts of amenities such as a dance floor, a beach club, a sauna, a jacuzzi, a gym, and much more. It might just be the most luxurious home that MBS has. No wonder he loves it so much. This beauty has been taken out by the likes of Russian vodka tycoon Yuri Shefler and the former richest man on earth himself, Bill Gates. Eventually, MBS snagged it for over $500 million. That's $200 million more than his frickin' Chateau. As great as this yacht is, it's still reportedly seen some drama. The yacht actually ran aground in 2017 after it hit a shallow reef in the Red Sea. This navigational error caused significant damage to the hull and cost millions of dollars in repairs. What's really scary about this is what's inside the yacht is almost as valuable as Serene. That would be the massively expensive work of art that is reportedly hanging there instead of in a museum. In 2017, during a particularly brutal round of bidding at Christie's auction house, a famous work by Leonardo da Vinci was picked up for a massive $450 million. The buyer was a mystery for years, but it wasn't a huge surprise when it turns out it was Mohammed Bin Salman himself. The painting in question is known as Da Vinci's Salvator Mundi. It's a painting of Jesus Christ robed in an anachronistic blue Renaissance-era garment. While it certainly seems to be an important work by one of the greatest artists to ever live, some experts doubt that he was really the one who did the lion's share of the painting, simply contributing to it and nothing more. There are others who claim that it's an elaborate fake, which in the art community is not as rare as you'd think. Though none of that mattered on the day of the auction at all. What's really funny about this purchase to me is why MBS was willing to drop nearly $500 million on this work. Nope, it's not because he's a diehard Da Vinci guy. Rumor has it was out of spite. It's been reported that MBS was under the impression that he was bidding against the Qatar royal family, who are famous for picking up works of art like this for massive fortunes. I feel like he could just give me like one of those billions. It would be rude not to, honestly. All I need is a tiny French chateau. I'm easy.